Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with a higher vibrational podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to SherryLord.com for more info. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Sherry Lord Show every Tuesday at 10 a.m. And if you please like us and share our podcast, we would greatly appreciate that. If you're feeling guided, help us get the word out. And if you want to be on my show, and all you have to do is tell me why you want to be on my show, and go to SherryLordPodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to me or email me, and I'll definitely will call you back. Make sure you leave your phone number. And we have a very special guest, and I just love her. She's from Sarasota, Florida here, and this is Debbie Moran, and we just love her. And her topic is about presence, power, and peace. This is a really good topic to cover. And not only that, she is an amazing healer, and she does body talk. She's an author, a published author, True Love Kisses, and we're going to talk about that. And she's got a lot of tips and a lot to share with us. And welcome, Debbie. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for having me. It's really my pleasure. I'm so excited.
Can you tell people a little bit about you, like what, how you became on your path, some of the stories, and then we'll go into the topic about how people can be more present in the moment. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it kind of started from birth.
Oh, wow.
I'm one of these people that have had multiple near-death experiences.
Oh, wow.
And when I was born, basically, I say when I was born, I died.
Oh, wow.
And basically, they said that I was going to die and not live. So it's like I feel like I came in, and my mom, I grew up Pentecostal. So very, if you know anything about Pentecostal, they're called holy rollers, and
okay,
fun in many ways, but a lot of hypocrisy in others. So basically, my mom prayed and said, "God, if you let her live, I will dedicate her life to you." And I thought,
wow.
Well, that is interesting because my life has been dedicated to God. But not the God that everybody talks about, because to me that version is Zeus, and what everybody talks about in the Bible and the way they're taught and preached at most traditional churches, fundamental churches.
Right.
It's this God that passes out judgment and everything. That's not God to me. God is everything in all of us. And basically, I feel like every one of us is here as a representative of God in our own version. And we're meant to show up as who we came to be.
Yeah.
It's like a patchwork quilt or a puzzle. Every piece is needed. And for every person that doesn't show up, there's an absence. There's a missing piece. So it started from birth, actually. So I was a very odd child. So anyway, to not go into that, because that could go on forever. Bottom line is it started at birth, and I always, nature was my reprieve. I would always go into nature. I was kind of a loner. I've always been sort of a loner. Many people, I have a neighbor here that told me, he's lonely. And I said, I'm sorry you're lonely, but I don't get lonely because I know I'm not alone. So it's really coming to that awareness. So I ended up getting divorced early and lost a child, and then went on to advertising from high school. Then went into the airlines after my divorce.
Wow.
And so I worked early because I wanted to be with my mom. That's a whole nother story. So I've been working my whole life pretty much. I think at least since I was 12. So I've done a lot of things. And then I got into, after travel, then I became a massage therapist.
Oh, okay.
And massage therapy school, I think, is something everybody would benefit from because you really pay attention to yourself. So it's really like this in-depth self-discovery through massage school and your body. So I became a massage therapist. Then after a while, I ended up going into body talk. It just like a calling. I feel like everything I've done has been a calling to me. It's like I haven't made any steps without feeling called to it. And so Body Talk to me is a calling. And when I was introduced to Body Talk, it was an interesting year because that year was 1998.
Okay.
And so many things happened, so many good things and so many not so good things. But the first thing that happened was I finally got my own apartment. I was divorced finally. I ended up getting my own new furnishings for the first time ever. My apartment was so lovely. So happy in my new apartment. And then they sold it out from under me. So I had to put it in storage. I ended up moving with some friends. I ended up getting pregnant by mistake, had a miscarriage. So many things. My mom got killed in a car accident. And I was in 3 weddings that I didn't want to be in because it was after she got killed in a car accident. And then I ended up getting back with my old boyfriend. So many things happened. And that's the year I got introduced to Body Talk.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like everything. And part of the thing with the dynamic of losing my apartment, I think it was because, well, I think everything happens for a reason.
Right.
Everything happens for a reason. Even if it doesn't feel good, everything happens for a reason. And my sisters and I both, my baby sister and I both say, our mom did us a favor. She died in a car accident. So she thought, I'm not going to make you deal with me in my later years. So it was like, I love you, Mom. So anyway, and then with Body Talk, it was like I got called home. To me, I've discovered Body Talk to me is the language of consciousness. It's actually the language of everything, actually. And I've learned that to me, everything looks like a link because we deal with links in Body Talk. We link links, and we work with priorities. What's your priority? And rather than what do I need, even what's my priority? And so everything is like every person you meet, every situation, I link it, I associate it to Body Talk. Right. And it doesn't mean that's the only thing. It's just, I just feel the profoundness of that work. And I highly recommend it to anybody. And I've seen so many miracles with it. There was a time where people came to me with tragedies about babies. And they kept getting pregnant and they hadn't been able to. And it was like, and that was from the beginning of Body Talk. And in fact, one of my clients said, you need to put a warning on your intake form that says you will get pregnant. I have so many pictures. I'm recently at home with a house fire. Our house has been destroyed and we're living in this open. And this has given me a huge opportunity to be present. So we'll be talking about that, I'm sure. But what I've discovered is, sorry, I kind of go all over the place. And so what I've realized is with Body Talk, it just is so profound and it's helped me in so many ways. And I've seen so many miracles with people. And what it did is for me, it also created a system because I've always been intuitive. You know, I've always looked for the stars. I've always been intuitive. I've loved this planet and I love everything on it, but I never felt like this is my home. So I felt like an alien. And so Body Talk kind of gave me this system that allowed me to build a structure.
Yes.
To make my intuition more connected. So it gave me the ability to actually tap into my intuitive abilities even more. So it's been a gift and a grace. Yeah.
When we talk about being present, we really want to focus on presence, power, and peace. There's a lot of people, you know, they're present for a little while, but then the past comes and they can't seem to move back to the present. What can they do? And why is that? Is it because they're stuck there? Or they haven't healed something and that's why they keep coming out, or they're just scared?
All of that.
Wow.
All of that. Because first of all, we're programmed to, first of all, you know, we have this nervous system. We have this body, which is our temple. But we forget that it's our temple. It's not who we are. We are meant to care for it. We are meant to nurture it. We are meant to keep it well. And treat it kindly so that we are able to be connected to our source and to this earth. Because our body is literally made of the elements of the earth and the stars. So we're part of the cosmos. We're part of everything. And that's scary to be part
Yeah.
of the thing, especially when you feel it all. And there's so many people, I don't know, like probably you're the same way, but I feel everything. I feel
Mhm.
everything all the time.
Yeah.
And that's a bit overwhelming. And I have a lot of tools to deal with it, to address it. And so it's scary. So people get scared. And when you get scared, you immediately tap into that fight flight mechanism of the
Oh, yeah.
nervous system. So you go into that sympathetic nervous system mode instead of the parasympathetic nervous system. And so here's the difference. The parasympathetic nervous system is meant to run all the time because our bodies never shut down. When we're sleeping, our bodies are repairing.
Mhm.
In fact, every year we build a whole new body. Every organ, every cell in our body has regenerated at least one time in a year. It's probably more than that or sooner than that. It's just that now we have the tools to actually, science can prove that.
Yeah.
So I've never needed proof. But I love science. It's a curiosity for me.
Yeah.
It's scary to people to recognize, to feel in their intuitive knowing. And I think everybody probably to some degree has this, knows that we're all connected and feels things that they don't understand. And so
Yeah.
the mind takes over and the mind tries to resolve it for us. And that's where all our coping mechanisms are. That's where all the programming is. That's
Yeah.
where the belief systems that we were told throughout our whole life are. They're stored in the mind. It's like this archival library that has all of these
Right.
programs. And a lot of times what happens when people get into bad situations or hurtful, harmful, what feels bad situations, like this doesn't feel good, sitting next to a burned out house and not being able to get into my house. And I could go, woe is me, and I have, but I get out of it quickly. And it's not because I'm any more valuable or more important. It's just because I have tools. And I know and I trust that everything happens for a reason. But so the number one thing that happens is when people get stressed is the mind takes over.
Right.
The mind has all the programming. So what happens is people say, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
So the mind says, I don't know, let me go look. And it sends a message out to the universe and says, why is this happening to her or him? And so the universe says, let me show you. So you get more of why this is happening to you. So more bad situations, but it's not to punish you. It's because you asked. So you and I were talking earlier about asking for what
Right.
and we're always asking. It's just that we're not usually conscious and present enough to ask from our heart and from our soul.
Right.
So this is what my book is about too. And it's really about the presence, power, and peace. Those words came to me, and it's kind of funny they came to me because it took me a while to actually be able to say them over and over again and remember the order. But it really is about being present, meaning take a breath. Give yourself enough space to show up.
Yeah.
Give your nervous system enough space for the sympathetic nervous system to turn off and the parasympathetic nervous system to turn on. Because they're both necessary. We need both sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Yeah.
But the sympathetic is meant for like fast response.
Right.
It's the one that says, that goes, ah! So this is another thing with fear. Fear is a response. It's an intuitive precursor. So in other words, our intuition often shows up with this sudden aha, right? It's kind of like, pay attention. But most of us are so programmed in that fear survival mode that we don't listen after that. We hold our breaths.
Mhm.
So the number one thing I tell people is when you have a situation like that, as soon as you can remember, take a breath.
Yeah.
A full breath in and out. And maybe 2 or 3. But the moment you do that, everything, you settle down. It's like the sand in the hourglass or the sand at the ocean kind of goes, okay, I'm going to the ocean, the bottom now, to the floor. So it's like you enter your body. Your soul has room to come in your body. But when you're holding your breath, the soul is like, okay, let me in.
Yeah.
So the presence in power and peace is exactly that, because we confuse what's power. And we think you can't be powerful and peaceful at the same time.
Mhm.
You know, power and peace are not indistinct. They exist, they coexist. And you can only have true peace when you're present. You can only have true power when you're present. We associate power with, like, we've had all these hurricanes here, and everybody says, and I caught myself doing this the last hurricane. I caught myself saying, we didn't have power for the whole time. And I thought, wait a minute, quit saying that. I always have my power.
Yeah.
I never lose my power. We did not have electricity, but I had power.
Good for you.
Power and light is not power. It is electricity.
Yeah. Good job.
So it took me a long time to do that. I kept saying, I kept finding myself repeating it. So I have so much compassion for people who haven't been called to the path to acquire all these tools and to immerse themselves in how do I actually maneuver in this world when everything seems scary, and when I'm told how I should be and it feels like not how I am or how I want to be or how I choose to be. How do I be true to myself and stay alive? It's really it's that simple. So people are scared. People are programmed. We're programmed by the government. The government thinks they're our authority. And one of the reasons of claim your power and your authority is I am all about claiming your authority. Nobody has the right to tell you what to do with your body, what to do with anything in your life. There are rules out there that there are quote unquote laws. Many of them are illegal, but I won't get into that. But there are laws in the world that we need to follow socially. You know, like you don't want to run somebody over. You don't want to run a red light because you could cause an accident. So simple things. You want to follow those simple laws just because you want to be aware of the world around you, but you can only be aware of the world around you if you're present to be aware of the world around you. And most of us are running scared and narrowly focused in that tunnel vision of scared. So true power comes from within. And the only way to really claim it is to make that choice and to give yourself enough breathing space to do that. And to disallow, not fight against. There's a difference between fighting against. I don't believe in fighting against anything. For everything, every cause you fight against, you are giving it energy. You are literally throwing your energy into the very cause that you're fighting against. And that's not only not helpful for you, it's hurtful for the cause that you actually are working for. So, you know, I like what Mother Teresa said. I will never fight. I will never fight for war. I will never walk against war. I will always walk for peace. So it's really discovering that ability and always calling yourself back, because it's going to go in and out. Life is not this static. People think that I'm going to get in this state of bliss and I'm going to just stay there. But that's not life. If you look at an electrocardiogram, that's a flat line. That means somebody's died. So it doesn't mean that you stay in this flat line of bliss and you don't notice anything else. It means you stay in that level of bliss while you're riding the wave of whatever else is going on. And you're enjoying the ride. Enjoying the ride with all of its subtleties, and even as you're cursing because it's not what you want, you just immediately laugh. That's another thing. Laughter is the best response to life, because when you're laughing, you cannot worry. You cannot be fearful. You start elevating yourself. It's like you're lifting things. I feel like as you laugh, especially, you just literally, my email address is LOL at the end because I didn't want to be a number of Debbie Moran. But also, that's kind of who I am. I laugh out loud at anything I think is funny. And most of life is funny.
It is.
There's a lot of...
You are also an author. We want to cover that too.
Okay, good. So my book came during 2020 during COVID.
Wow.
COVID for me, I saw the blessing in it immediately, not the virus, not the scare, not the tactics of subversiveness, but I saw the blessing of the earth just needed a reprieve from us, and we needed a reprieve from ourselves. Those parts of us that were just getting in the way. And so for me, it was like a retreat. I stayed at home. I worked at home. I do work at home. When I get my office back, I'll work at home, although I wanted to do more. But so I joined a club to actually learn how to write a book in 90 days. I started this process of writing this book, and it didn't feel right. So I got a lot of it written. I have so many words written in papers everywhere that I just have been wanting to put out there for so long. They're just all over the place. But I wrote a lot of things, and I was about ready to do the outline and start putting it together. And I just thought, it just doesn't feel right. And a friend of mine, an astrologer friend of mine, Brian Hill, you may know him, said to me, Debbie, write your own book, write it your own way. And I thought, yeah. So I just put that aside. And then all of a sudden I started, this channeling started coming through, and these characters came through, and I wrote, and it happened very quickly, and it was so beautiful. And it was like they would keep me awake at night, and I would just keep going and keep going. And it was so profound for me. And it's really it's 2 books in one. And the first part is True Love's Kiss.
Yeah.
And it's written in story form, and it's about the life of a mother and daughter, and from birth to when the daughter leaves. In other words, from birth to leaving home, her birth home. So it's about that process and everything they went through, and all of the trials and tribulations. And the reason it came through is it's really a book about writing about how all of this programming and how all of these things and situations repeat themselves, and how we got programmed with it, and how they keep repeating themselves unknowingly, unconsciously. And it's about really having compassion for yourself and the others, because it's all about everybody doing the best they can with what they learned, and in the environment that they're in. And so the story came through, and it was so fun, and all of these names came through, like the character Esmeralda was the daughter, and the mother was Genevieve, and I was like, Genevieve, and I couldn't even, I had to go back to spelling it over and over again. So it was like the character just came through, and it was so fun and so beautiful. And then the second part is Kiss, which means, and it means keep it simple, sweetheart.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Because the main phrase that we use out there for the words kiss is keep it simple, stupid. And that's just perpetuating the self-abuse that we're taught. That life has to be hard, that no pain, no gain, that don't be stupid, instead of just be gentle. Keep it simple, sweetheart.
Oh, wow. I like that.
And so what it is it's tools. It's like what I use a lot, and they're very simple tools, and there's something we all have. And it really starts with the breath. And that is the most simple thing we could do. And it is the one thing we can't live without. It is the first thing that we come in with, and the last thing that leaves our bodies when we leave. And it's the first thing we hold and withhold from ourselves when we're distressed. And so it starts with the breath, and then it's just simple techniques of breathing and journaling, and then BodyTalk techniques of tapping. So, in BodyTalk, we make links, and we talk about priorities, and there's a simple technique called the cortices, and it's a simple technique, and people don't even need to learn that technique, but I do have that on we have it on the IBA website, but I also have it on my BodyTalk and Beyond website, and people I walk them through that step, and it's a simple technique that John Veltheim, the founder of BodyTalk, used to say, if you did the cortices every day, eventually everything would quiet, and everything would settle down, and everything would be well.
Wow.
So it has 4 simple techniques in it, and it walks people through it, and just tells them this is how you can take these baby steps, because everything starts with baby steps. I think I want to share what it is that I know, but I've done so much that it can get overwhelming for people. And it can, my toolbox is so big, I forget what I have in there sometimes. And I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot. Why am I not doing that? So I wanted to keep it simple for people, because this book is written because I wanted to reach the masses. I wanted to reach people who feel like the pool, but are confused about what it is and stuck in that fight flight mode. And I wanted to give them something simple that they could do, that they have access to. Everybody has tools, even those that haven't taken courses. We have tools. Nature is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place you can go where you can remember yourself, because nature doesn't have a facade. It simply is what it is. And that's what we need to learn. Be what you came to be. So I wanted to keep it simple for people so that they could actually take these steps. And I said baby steps before, because what I learned is when I first got into this process, I was so over all of the struggle, all of the chaos. I grew up in a chaotic, beautifully loving family, but so unconscious. But beautifully loving, not stupid. They weren't not stupid. They just weren't educated, and they didn't get involved in the educational system, which in some ways served them, but in other ways didn't, because it allowed them to be captured and caught in the system more.
Yeah.
And the system is not an enemy. It's just something that we have to work with. But I really wanted to just get it all done. I was like, I get involved in body talk. I'm like, just take it all away. I don't need all this stuff. This is not who I am. Just take it all away. And that's how many people come to me. And many people come to me as their last step. They're like, I've tried all this and this and this. And by the time they get to me, they're like, I need it done now. And a lot of times it can happen now, but not if you're demanding it from a place of fear.
Yeah.
If you're demanding it from a place of commanding it, in other words, if you and I can come together and have an agreement, it will happen. I have no doubt about that. But what happens is in our society, so many people are like, I want it all gone.
Yeah.
That's crisis oriented. And most of us are born crisis oriented. Our world is crisis oriented. Our world is programmed not to come together in celebration. It's programmed to come together in crisis. And so I wanted to give simple steps for people to get themselves out of crisis, but baby steps. And even if you only do the first step, breath, I promise you miracles will start to show up, because you are the very miracle you came to be.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants these spectacular, phenomenal miracles, and they happen all the time. When we're present to them, we recognize them. And we're grateful for them, but we don't go, well, at least I don't go, look at all this stuff that's happening for me. But I say thank you to everything. And I want people to be able to do that. And if you just breathe, for every time you catch yourself not breathing, just breathe. You will open the door to the miracle that you are. And that's what I want for the world. I want the world to wake up to the miracle that they are, because every one of us that wakes up to the miracle we are shows another person that's possible.
Yeah.
And if they can do it, I can do it. Not I'm special, so I can do it. It's more about if I can do it, you
can do it. Yeah.
It's really
that's wonderful.
Cheerleading.
So how can the people get your book? How can they order it? Is it online? Is it a physical book?
It's on Amazon, and it's on Amazon in paperback form, and it's on Amazon in Kindle form or ebook form. I want to make it an audiobook version. I just haven't taken the step yet, because I want to be the one to do the audio. And I know there's a lot of tools out there. I just haven't found the right tool yet. But I want to make it an audio version.
Because that would be nice.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. And can you give people the name of the book again who are watching?
Sure. It's called True Love's Kiss, and by Debbie Moran. And if you don't put in my name, you're going to get all of these romance novels.
That's good to know.
And it really is about romance, but it's about you're your own love.
That's beautiful.
And in order to find true love, you have to find it first here.
Within. My other question is, how can people get a hold of you? You have a website. How can
I,
people get hold of you? They might want a session for the body talk or Reiki or what you offer. Do you have a website and there's a name for it?
I do. It's called BodyTalkandBeyond.com.
Okay.
Because Body Talk is my foundational system, but I've done a lot of things. And for me, the beyond part is the most critical. Body Talk got me there, helped get me there. But the beyond is like, the mystics and all of that. It's really about tapping
Right.
into that space beyond the immediate awareness here,
Yeah.
finding it within. So, yeah. So it's called BodyTalkandBeyond.com. And it has my phone number on it. It has my email in it. And but my email is debbie.moran.sol@gmail.com.
Well,
So,
thank you. Oh, Debbie, we so loved having you on our show, and we will have you back. She gave us a wealth of information and shared her journey with us, and I'm sure it's going to help many people who are watching. And you can go to www.sherrylord.com. We do have links to her, and you can also see the upcoming guests that we have. Thank you so much, Debbie, and we want to give thanks to all the people who are watching us. Please like us and share and help us get it out there.
yes,
Blessings to all, prosperity, abundance, and peace.
thank you all.